Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
Today we're going to talk about the persecution of Germans in the First World War in Belgium.
In Belgium, yes. This is one particular item that I noticed in the paper this week, the Catholic Times of the 11th of January, just this week, and that's it. Anyway, I'll show it to you later on. I'll just talk about it.
So 43 Catholic priests were killed. Is that correct?
That's right. Now, in Germany, or sorry, in Belgium, when the Germans invaded, the people were persecuted, and the food and all the rest would become scarce. And Belgium had a small population of about 1.5 million. Not much. And it's mostly a Catholic country. So in one area alone there was 43 priests killed. It's funny how the forces of evil always make for priests or nuns or Catholic faithful. Even from the Reformation, it's like a disease that has mushroomed. And the Germans were past masters at that. So here we have in Belgium this invasion by the Germans in the First World War in 1914. We've spoke about that before, which Irishmen and Irish priests did tremendous service and paid for it with their lives. Now, with regard to the Belgians, Britain came to their aid and actually had campaigns to support them. They're regarded as Little Belgium, being kind of overrun, and they provided succour for 250,000 Belgians who crossed by the Channel. One lady, for example, that just figures out probably were more, the Germans made her leave her house at night time and she was in her night clothes, and she arrived in Britain, in England, in her night clothes. It gives you an idea of the cruelty of that race as they descended on what was a neutral country, Belgium. No one was safe from them. There was probably other countries when the same thing happened, but Belgium particularly has been just publicised in this paper this week. And that's the first I knew about the sort of, if you like, the starvation of those people. Probably a lot of people died. People were murdered. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Probably a lot more. But there were the German tyrant came, and the people then suddenly had to escape as best they could. Fortunately, the 250,000 that crossed to Britain got a great welcome, including from non-Catholics that provided shelter for them, rooms in their houses. They got food and clothing, and a lot of them then men started working in factories, which were a great help to the war effort, because they had to produce armaments to try and deal with this German invasion of Europe, and which was, funny enough, the forerunner for that war was supposed to be over in short time, yet it lasted for 4 years with the deaths of millions of people. Unfortunate poor foot soldiers, and a lot of Irish people were killed in that war, upwards of 250,000. So there's a lot we don't know about the First World War and what the effect it was on the citizens of Europe by the Germans. There was no Nazi Germans, there were Germans. And so this is what happened to poor Belgians. They had to flee. And this is what happens when strong countries invade weaker countries. We experienced it here. We experienced it here from the time of Henry VIII and the persecution of the Catholics for 200 or 300 years. That started with Cromwell killing all those people in Drogheda. Funny enough, we were talking about Drogheda a while ago. They were massacred. As a matter of fact, it was mentioned on one of the programmes there during the week that I happened to be looking at, the massacre that occurred in Drogheda by Cromwell's forces. Innocent children and mothers killed. Now here, they've been put to the sword again by this business of renaming the hospital in Drogheda. So, but anyway, this is what persecution does.
Yeah, it's different forms.
Different forms.
Okay. You have an article there you're going to show.
I have. This was what drew my attention to this, and it was something I didn't know, because there's a lot we don't know. But it was in the Catholic Times, and there it is, a 250,000 Belgians crossed the channel and were welcomed with open arms. Now, open arms.
Did you say the Catholic Voice or the Catholic Times? What was
Sorry, the Catholic Times.
Catholic Times.
Which is a British paper. And so there was a...
You just want to hold it up, yeah,
There was a poster that they had. 1.5 million Belgians are destitute in Belgium.
And what magazine is that?
This is the Catholic Times.
No, I'm saying like 1,500.
This was
Belgian.
A poster that.
A poster, sorry. Okay.
Had,
it actually looks like the Times. Sorry.
There you are. No, this is the poster here.
Yeah.
1.5 million Belgians are destitute in Belgium. They must not starve. Support the local fund. They were marvellous to those people, and they contributed to the war effort as well when they were working in the factories. And most of them went back to Belgium after the war, but quite a few stayed because they liked the support that they got, and they become good citizens of that country.
Very good.
So it's good to see that Britain did that good deed at that time, to their credit.
Okay. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver.